you ever hear of Kong? Why, yes. Some native superstition, isn't it? A god or a spirit or something. Well, anyway, neither beast nor man. Something monstrous, all-powerful, still living, still holding that island in a grip of deadly fear. Well, every legend has a basis of truth. I tell you, there's something on that island that no white man has ever seen. And you expect to photograph it. If it's there, you bet I'll photograph it.
Suppose it doesn't like having its picture taken.
Well, now you know why I brought along those cases of gas bombs.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room in Greater Cincinnati. In this video, I thought I'd do a redo. I originally had a video of this project early on in my channel, and since then my audio is dramatically improved in my presentation, so I just wanted to redo a video for this project because it deserves it, I think. This is the King Kong 1933 Sacrifice project, done by, of course, Mark Seng Yang. This Kong is excellently done. He's probably between 15 to 16 inches tall, roughly, give or take there. I'd say closer to 16. I'll have a couple size comparisons in a moment here to show his scale, but it's a nicely done project. It depicts the scene when Kong, 1933, his first scene, his first appearance in the film, and when he gets his prize, Andero, from the altar. Everything you see here was made by Mark Seng Yang. Also, there are, if you wonder why his hands are like this, there were some trees sets that he made that went with this, 3 little sets, 2 little ones that went on the side, and then one in the middle that was branched, and it fit in his hands like he was pushing one this way, and the other one kind of fit in his cupped hand here. So that's why his hands are like this, because if you see it all together, it makes sense. But I didn't want to carry those tree sets down. They're kind of delicate, and they're up in my diorama room. I keep them up there, and I use them in dioramas, not only with this, but with other pieces. But those 3 tree sets, Kong, Andero, and the altar, was all produced by Mark Seng Yang, and he really did a really good job on this set. Very nicely done. For anybody that knows me, King Kong 1933 is my favorite film of all time. To me, the greatest action-adventure movie that was ever made, and it was a kaiju movie, a monster movie. I love Kong. He got me into this craziness and this hobby, and when I started collecting with getting sculpts from Mark Seng Yang 2.5 years ago, roughly, this was one that was in my line of stuff to do, and I actually got it in 2018. I think probably mid-year, maybe something like that. It's probably 1.5 years old, roughly. But it was one that was in my mind to do with him eventually, and it never left my mind to try to do it. And I wanted it a little bigger scale so he could give some details, especially to this altar. This altar is really nicely done, really is. But it's my favorite movie. One of the most epic scenes in the film is when you first realize and see what Kong is in the film. And I think this is scaled up very well as far as the size of the altar, if you watch the film, and the size of Andero and everything. It's just nicely done. But the whole film to me is a rocket ship ride. I love the beginning, how the mystery of it, like what's Kong, where are they going, then they mention Kong, what is Kong, when you first see that as a kid, what is this, what's Kong, and what are they talking about? And then when you first see him in this scene in the film, you're like, oh my God, it's a giant gorilla. But Kong really isn't, he's not really a giant gorilla to me. He's just a giant ape-like monster. He's not really a gorilla. He's his own thing. So, but this depicts him in a standing form, because in that movie he was both a knuckle walker and he could stand up on both legs. He was very mobile, that Kong, in my opinion. What's pretty cool is this here is roughly the size of the puppets that they used to depict Kong in the film, because I think the puppets were 16 to 18 inches tall roughly, and I'd say this is pretty close to the size of what they were in that movie. This is what Kong was. He was a puppet that they did for stop motion, which was pretty cool. But the whole movie is a rocket ship ride, especially when they get to the island, of course. And then from then on, it's just a very, very great film. My favorite film. I watch it numerous times every year. And it is a tragic and sad end that Kong gets taken to a foreign place such as the big city of New York. And he climbs up on the Empire State Building, I think, just to get away from all of the craziness and the confusion, and he ends up that being his downfall in the end of the movie. But it's a great movie, one of the greatest movies ever made, in my opinion, and my favorite movie. And if you've never seen it, you should really afford yourself the chance to see it, because the technology and stuff they used in the movie for that time frame and the filming, special effects they were using was really unique, and they were groundbreaking for that time, and I think it still stands up well today, in my opinion. And of course, Kong 33 and what happened to Japan with the nuclear weapons and the nuclear testing in the ocean that affected some Japanese sailor ships. That and Kong 33 gave birth to Godzilla. So it's very, very interesting. This is the original King, in my opinion, and I can't wait for later this year when we see Kong do the big battle with Godzilla again this year. And my heart is with Kong. It always will be with Kong in this fight. I know he's a huge underdog, but just me being honest, my heart's with Kong. I got to pull for Kong in this one. Okay, as far as this whole set goes, like I said, the trees are still upstairs, but there was 3 sets of trees, and they go well with this and make it look really cool. And like I once said, the one in the middle is big, and it's wedged in a V shape, and it fits right in his hands like this, like he's looking through the trees, like in the movie, to see what is on the altar, which is Andero. We'll start with the altar. Andero. First, Andero is depicted nicely with a green dress, button-up dress like she had in the film, I'm sorry, not green, pink. I was looking at the moss on this altar and I was thinking green. A pink dress and a button-up front pink dress. And in the film, if you've seen the color version, her dress is this color, pink. So I'm like how Mark Seng Yang did capture that. Of course, very nicely done little figure. And another cool thing about it is she does fit in Kong's hand. So I can take her off of the altar and put her in Kong's hand. So that's pretty cool that he did that. That's another reason why he's got the can cupped open like that, so that he can also hold her, but also works well with the trees, like I said. This altar is really the masterpiece of this thing. It's really impressively done. If you watch the movie and see what the altar looks like, he captured it very well. The really ancient, old-looking bricks, the steps and the bricks and the columns that come up to the 2 pillars on the altar. It's nicely done. Looks very old. Whole thing looks very old with nice green mossy effects all around the base, as you can see. And then of course, as each step goes up, there's some nice green mossy effects as each escalation of steps and the building columns for the steps go up. Really nicely done. Mark did capture, I thought he captured this very well. This is honestly, I know Kong's awesome, but this was what impressed me so much about this piece was this altar, because he just really did capture that very nicely as far as the details on it, with the way the bricks are sculpted and the steps are done. It just looks very old and ancient, as it did in the film. Of course, the two pillars up here, very nicely done. Nice ancient carvings and stuff in the pillars. And if you watch the film, it does. I remember getting this and watching the movie and like, darn, he really captured those pillars very well. They're nice, intricate markings and indications of native, something to do with their native, you know, the tribe on the island. I'm sure did all this depicting on these two pillars, and it's really nicely done. Of course, in here he made two little U-shaped indentations that allows you to put Andero in there. Kind of makes it depicts her being tied to the altar like in the film. It's pretty cool. There we go. Kind of like just like that. Her wrists fit down into the two indentations, and it makes it look like she's tied to the altar, waiting on Kong to capture his prize. Of course, on top of the altar, if you watch the film, there are two skulls on either top of the pillar, and he got two little skulls sculpted on there. Looks pretty cool. Really nicely done piece to this. It's my favorite piece of the whole project, really. He really did do a good job with that. Now we'll move on to Kong real quick. And here's the Kong that goes with this project, King Kong 1933. Really nicely done sculpture. Like I said, roughly about 16 inches tall, I'd say. It's really, really cool. Nice definition on it as far as the fur sculpted and the legs, back of the legs. Really nice, big, thick, muscular looking legs on Kong. Big, broad back. Nice hair sculpted on the back. Big, broad looking back. The arms are, of course, kind of like in posing mode, out to his side, either arm, but they're upward, they're upright, so it depicts him spreading the tree branches. But nice sculpting of the hair on the arms there. The upper abdomen and belly, nice definition with some musculature looking underneath the fur there, and then the bare chest, bare black chest. Of course, all the hair and everything on Kong here is black, so which makes sense because in the film he was black and white. So very nicely done. The fingers individually sculpted. Nice sculpting of the nails on either hand. Very nicely done. Of course, the signature King Kong 1933 face right there really captured Kong's face, I think, in this sculpture. Got the really high eyebrow ridge with some nice wrinkling in it. Very wide nostrils, which you could see on Kong several times in the film when he would have certain reactions in his face. Nice wrinkle sculpting on the upper lip of Kong there. Very cool, very nicely done. The eyes are white in color with a black pupil. Nice domed head, of course, which is a signature of Kong, of course, the dome-shaped head. Nice sculpted ears on either side there of his head. Very nicely done. Mark really did capture this big look and essence of King Kong 1933 with this thing. Mouth, very nicely done. The teeth are white in color. Very nicely done. Pink gums and a pink looking pink colored tongue sculpted inside the mouth. Really cool. Really cool. It screams King Kong 1933 to me. I feel like if I ask for another 33, he's gotten better and better with these 33s. So for me, I know I got one more coming, a 30 centimeter, when he's fighting the pterodactyl in the movie. I've got one commissioned, another 33, and I think that might be all the 33s right now I have coming. So, but I have several. I got some back archive videos on my channel of some of the other 33s I have. So, I'm a big Kong 33 fan, and this one here is nicely done by Mark. I love the whole project, and I'm glad I went ahead and got this from him. Alright, I'll move on to some size comparisons, and let's do that right now. Alright, here's my X Plus Gigantic Series Godzilla 1954, the original Godzilla, and the original King Kong there. Watch your tail, Godzilla. I'll have Kong tail whip you. I think these two scale really well, and it's pretty cool that that's the original of both kaiju, original Kong, original Godzilla. That's pretty good scaling, I think, there. Alright, let's do another size comparison. Let's move on to that. Alright, everybody. X Plus Gigantic Godzilla 1962. The Godzilla that has fought Kong in the film. Only one other film until the one this year, where they actually came to blows, 1962. And this is the Godzilla that was paired up against Kong. These look really good together because Godzilla here's got a lot of girth. Of course, Leslie Chambers will say he's the big fatty, which he is. I can't deny that he is. But I just feel like this is about the pairing that it'll be this year, hopefully. Godzilla will be quite bigger than Kong, both in mass. He'll be taller, but Kong will have some advantages on his side, in my opinion, as far as speed and agility and striking and all that. So it'll be interesting for sure. Alright, let's move on to one quick final size comparison. Let's do that right now. Alright, everybody, my X Plus Standard Edition Kong 2017 from Kong Skull Island. That's a 30 centimeter figure, so you can see this custom is about roughly 4 inches taller than the X Plus, 3 to 4 inches taller. So like I said, he's about 15 and a half, 16 inches tall, this Kong, roughly. Alright, I'll move on to some quick final thoughts on this here custom project, and let's do that right now. Alright, everybody, I'm back. Me and Kong and Miss Darrow are here. She's screaming in horrified disbelief, just like throughout the film. She's constantly screaming. That's the one thing that I did rather enjoy about the 2005 Kong that Peter Jackson did. Yes, she was scared of him, especially at first, but then she grew to have a bond with him, and she was actually trying to defend him at the end, trying to stand in front of him so the planes wouldn't shoot him, and she actually was very upset and distraught when he finally lost his battle with the planes on top of the Empire State Building. So I did love how Peter Jackson depicted the relationship between the two from beginning to end. In this one, I have to agree. I know Leslie Chambers has said this. She just screams the whole time like crazy, and that's about right. Every time Kong has her in his hand, she's screaming like crazy. So but 05 and even 76 to a better degree, really their relationship evolved in that movie as well, and she was begging at the end, don't kill him. So really interesting two depictions that I do enjoy that facet of them two movies more than what happened in this one with her endless screaming and stuff. So, but you can only imagine that time, 1933, that this movie scared a lot of people, and you can only imagine if you was actually a woman put in that position, you'd probably be screaming your head off too. So, but this is a very nice project. I love it. I love how we captured the essence of this scene in the movie, and my favorite part of it is this altar. It's really, really cool how Mark caught that. All right, everybody, I will bring the camera closer for some close-ups of this thing. And yes, by the way, if you're ever interested in a sculpt, you can contact Mark Seng Yang on Facebook, and he will give you details on anything you'd want, because he's done about everything I've ever wanted, never turned me down once. So highly recommend his talents. I'm sure Leslie Chambers can attest to that as well. There's several other people that can attest to that, but go GR851. He has at least one sculpt from him, I know. So very nice artist here. Highly recommend his talent. All right, I will bring the camera forth. Want to thank everyone for always tuning into my videos and commenting. And if you like the video and comment, you can certainly do that. This is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room here in Greater Cincinnati. Me, Kong 33, and this terrified Miss Ann Darrow would love to wish you all a very blessed day, and we'll see you again real soon.